Good afternoon. My name is Evan Eiler, and today I will be a sales representative for Volt. I am the Southeast Regional Manager for our sales team, and today I will be talking with Ms. Carrie Cassell, which is the Chief Information Officer of Shands UF Health. Good afternoon. Very nice to see you again.
You as well.
I know, but before we go ahead and get started, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the SEC basketball and how well we're doing in March Madness.
Oh yeah, I mean University of Arkansas actually made it this year.
Yeah, I honestly can't believe that the University of Arkansas made it. They haven't been there in a long time. Something that I love about the University of Florida, my alma mater, is that we're pretty consistent in going to the big dance. This year, unfortunately, we didn't get to do that. But with that, we can go ahead and get down to business.
All right.
I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about Volt as a company and what we have to offer, and how we can really put a proper solution to the communication within your hospital. So as we'll see right here, we have two main options for Volt within the hospital. So the first one, as you see right here, is Volt One, and that is held on smartphone devices. And Volt One Volt actually stands for it's an acronym that stands for voice, so VO, voice, alarm, AL, and text, TE. So your healthcare providers have the opportunity to speak via voice over a voice over IP, which runs on your wireless network, on your Wi-Fi network rather. It also has the capability to connect your patients' statuses and their alarms to the healthcare provider's phone. So it'll be on their person. They'll be able to get any problems that your patients have right to their phone. Also, lastly, you have the ability for your healthcare providers to text information. But I just want to make sure that you're aware that all of the texts that are sent, all of the calls that are made from healthcare provider to healthcare provider have the ability to be monitored. We also have VoltMe, which is one of our newest things that we have, our app that runs the Volt software on a personal device. So that way that your doctors and people that are often outside of the hospital can communicate with their healthcare providers inside the hospital. Now, we're going to be going with a device called the MC40, the Motorola MC40, which you can see right there. And that is a virtually indestructible device. That way that when you make an investment with Volt, you're making an investment with really good hardware that can withstand all the possibility, all the problems that healthcare providers could put their phones through. We've also had success with multiple hospitals throughout the year. Some include hospitals such as the University of Iowa, which we just rolled out the Motorola MC40 into their hospital as well, and their healthcare providers are absolutely loving it. So I just wanted to go a little bit into my own background with Volt. I've been with Volt for 3 years now, and I've had the opportunity to work in a lot of different departments. So I started out in the services department, in which I had the opportunity to see how Volt was implemented. I also had the opportunity to be on the development team, where I got to watch each iteration of Volt go from its version 1.0 all the way up to version 3.0. And it's been a really cool thing to watch and see it get better and see how it's more applicable today than it has ever been, and it will continue to grow from here on out. So can you tell me a little bit about how your hospital communication system is structured?
Well, we currently have old SpectraLink legacy devices, which only have the ability to call from nurse to nurse. And we also recently purchased Epic's electronic medical record system.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure as you've been able to find out that SpectraLink is what we like to call a legacy device. So that is a very old and archaic device that I'm sure that you've had around for over 5 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
You had the opportunity to not only get those voice calls that you were getting over your SpectraLink devices, but you're able to text from one another, as we talked about earlier. And as far as purchasing Epic's electronic medical record system, the EMR system, Epic, we actually are partnered with Epic, and we have the capability to put Epic on our platform. Sorry.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
So if you wouldn't mind going on to the first selling point.
All right.
So the implementation of the Volt solution will dramatically increase the efficiency and productivity of Shands Hospital's healthcare providers. If you look with me here, 53% of the patient care that is given to your patients by your healthcare providers is wasted on communication, on the effort of communication. You can see here that if we can eliminate some of the unnecessary communication that can be captured in a text message versus being captured in the length of a phone call, then we can really increase the amount of efficiency that is had in your hospital. And this is literally what saves lives. As you'll see here, 400 patients die each day in hospitals across the nation.
Wow.
Due to hospital error. And that can be directly attributed to poor communication, inefficient communication. Are you aware of how much financial savings switching over to Volt could have for your hospital?
No.
The implementation of Volt will save your hospital an extraordinary amount of revenue that you have been wasting on inefficient communication between your healthcare providers. As you see here, over $12 billion nationwide is wasted on communication inefficiencies.
Okay.
As you'll see here, $8.3 billion in lost productivity is due to outdated technology. Well, I assure you that this is the new thing for today's time. The average response time for nurse calls using SpectraLink devices is 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Wow.
So that is from the time that the alarm is hit at the patient station, all the way to the time that the healthcare provider reaches your patient. And one thing that we can attribute that to is alarm fatigue. So that means that if, let's say, God forbid, a really terrible alarm comes to one of your healthcare providers, they will just treat it as if it's any other alarm because they receive hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a day. With Volt, all of the overhead communication, all of the inefficient communication is thrown right out the window, so we cut down on alarm fatigue. And this not only will save lives, but will help you save revenue from inefficient communication.
Perfect.
If you wouldn't mind, we'll go ahead into the value analysis. So if you'll see here, initially, the total cost of the Volt smartphone is greater than the legacy devices or the Vocera voice badges, which is one of our biggest competitors.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that when we install Volt, we actually have to come and create a closed network that is encrypted, and we have to bring in huge servers and set it up through your IT department, which you directly oversee as the Chief Information Officer. And we go ahead and we do Wi-Fi testing, and we have an entire implementation team come out and assess whether your hospital is ready for the Volt devices. The Volt solution doesn't just go as far as the individual device, it goes much further than that. It's the full package, it's the full implementation.
That'd be useful.
So, do you have any questions or concerns for us about the Volt product?
Well, I'm not really sure if we're able to find room in the budget for Volt because of our recent purchase of Epic's EMR technology.
So are you telling me that due to the fact that you recently purchased the Epic EMR technology hospital-wide, that you won't be able to find room in the budget for that?
Right.
Well, I do hear you, but as you can see here, we will be saving your hospital a lot of money over the years. It's quite an investment. Not just to say that, but the Volt solution and the Volt smartphone, as I was telling you a little bit earlier, is the perfect platform for the Epic electronic medical record technology. That way, it's right in the hands of your healthcare providers. So it'll actually act as a platform through which Epic can be in the hands of your healthcare providers. Did that answer your question?
Well, I'm just not really sure if I'm able to purchase Volt's solution because it just may be too expensive.
Excellent. And so, as you can see in the value analysis, I do see exactly where you're coming from. I know that it is quite a heavy investment for hospitals and for you. But with that being said, the implementation of Volt gives you so much more. You really get the opportunity to have a services department to come in and assess whether your wireless network is up to par. You have the training specialists that we talked about earlier. And you'll be saving so much revenue in the long run that'll actually wind up paying you dividends in the long run. Did you have any more questions for me?
No, I don't think so. That all sounds good.
So I just want to go ahead and wrap up with the Volt solution that has been implemented in the University of Iowa, which is a similar learning environment as I was telling you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to Shands in nature in that it has several different buildings and and thousands of healthcare providers, and they rolled out the Motorola MC40 house-wide, and they have had nothing but positive responses. We sent out feedback forms so that we could find out how the not only the healthcare providers are feeling about the new devices, but we had a chance to talk to the people that were behind the purchase of that product, and they've had nothing but positive remarks. They can see the dividends being paid in the long run, and actually their HIPAA scores and their HIPAA compliance has been much better with the lack of alarm fatigue and overhead noise, which can be very stressful and very bad for the healthcare providers.
Mm-hmm.
And just to really summarize the key benefits that the Volt solution has for your hospital, is that for your healthcare providers, we are able to increase the efficiency through which they communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And this will increase the ability for them to focus on their patients, to give back directly into patient care.
Mm-hmm.
No longer will they have to spend a lot of time waiting on certain information to get from healthcare provider to healthcare provider. It'll be much more instantaneous.
Okay.
And it's a really beneficial thing that has been seen and proven and tried and trusted at places just like the University of Iowa. So real quickly, this sales call is specific because UF Health Shands Hospital has a need to improve the efficiency of healthcare providers' communication. It is measurable because every healthcare provider will have the opportunity to communicate with each other using the Volt-equipped smartphone devices. It is attainable because UF Health Shands Hospital is one of the largest hospitals in Florida and will have more than enough available revenue to purchase the Volt solution. The objective is challenging because the Volt solution is the most expensive option in the market space, but it is timely because Shands Hospital has recently purchased Epic's EMR technology and is in need of a convenient device for its healthcare providers to use. Also, Shands is currently using a very outdated form of communication for its healthcare providers, which it desperately needs to be improved. Did you have any questions for me?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then I think that we're just about ready to seal the deal. If you wouldn't mind going through some of the paperwork that we have here, and if you'll sign right here and here.
All right.
And thank you very much. And so we will let a week go by, and then after a week we'll have one more meeting, and that's going to go just like this. Excellent to see you one more time. I hope that you've had a very positive feeling about how Volt is being implemented into your hospital.
We have.
And let me just assure you, again, that Volt has been tested in very many hospitals, and it's a really good product that is gaining more and more market share, and and as you, one of the early innovators in taking the smartphone technology to the healthcare providers, will really see the dividends proven. And just to ensure that your satisfaction is up to par and that you are satisfied with your product, we have support coordinators and BFF coordinators that speak directly with your healthcare providers. And your healthcare providers will be able to go on their own smartphone devices and go right into our app and talk directly to one of our Volt representatives. So that way, if they have any problems, if there's any problem with the software, they don't know how it works, they don't remember how to contact this person, they don't remember how to do this, our BFFs are going to be right there for them.
Perfect.
And I'm really happy that you made the decision to go with Volt. And if you have any problems in the future, you know exactly how to contact me. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.